Where's the video? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's not on there. Right, no one here. They've all forgotten me. All right, I'll wait for a few people to turn up. It's not going to be a long one today for anyone's thinking that. Nope. I just want to kind of get this one done because it's today's events. And I can't actually draw yet for some reason. Every time I try to draw, I just can't focus. So, but tomorrow I'm gonna have to force myself to draw, even if I can't focus. So I might as well do this instead because I can't go to sleep. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is going to be what was happening in central London today. There was a protest outside the Indian embassy, and also got some great audio of Afghan. Basically showing his hatred for the Sikhs of Afghanistan. And yeah, it's pretty amazing audio. You know, I've been fighting a lot for the last 2 days. I'm not going to lie. Bloody hell, man. Yesterday I was arguing for like 5 hours. Today, not really arguing, but I was on Jedi's. And obviously, you know, I had to give my, let's just say my piece about a few things. I was pretty civilized, but yeah, I've been ranting a bit. I think because I think the problem is because I'm still ill. When I'm ill, I'm very irritable. And this is the problem. I'm a very bad person. When I'm ill, I'm just not the same. I'm always quite irritable and argumentative. And I know people are going to say, well, you're like that anyway. No, I'm worse because I'm kind of agitated. I don't feel, especially if I can't draw, then I get a bit annoyed. I get annoyed when I can't draw and stuff. So obviously I haven't drawn for like 3 weeks. So let me just double check. Yeah, so Afghan, I've had evidence on him before about who he's posting up pictures of Afghan Sikhs being murdered. He used to use avatars of Sikh funerals. You know, after the terrorist attack in Afghanistan, he put an avatar of the people that died on there, and they're crying. I've had a few comments from him in the past, but Afghan, thank you very much for the last couple of days. For the 2 days, you've given me enough that anything else you say will just add. But now I've got enough to at least make you suspect, because the things you said today about Afghan Sikhs and yesterday, whether you was trolling, whether you wasn't trolling, I don't give a shit. You said it, and now I've got audio of you because I've always believed that you thought that kind of stuff. Don't give the freaks too much of your valuable time. They should, yeah, I know, but sometimes I've got to, lower myself to the normal people out there and let them, have a bit of the large and let them do their thing. So, all right, let me wait for a few more people to turn up. Obviously, because it's an educational thing, they're not going to come anyway. I don't want to listen to what's happening over there. But obviously, there's stuff going on in India, which is kind of affecting people over there. And obviously, there's relatives. We have relatives over here, people up in the Punjab. So obviously, we're going to be kind of protesting in London. I couldn't go because of obviously because of COVID and stuff. I heard that though it was sick. Yes, no more people speak like that. I don't really care. There are some Morpheus, Jack Attack Live, J Star. 226. You've always had a logical range. Jack Attack Live. Injection saying, don't really know about the guy. Don't know what he thinks. Don't really want to get involved with the guy just because of certain things let's just say I've been told. I'd rather keep a distance. Not my type of person. Educated guest. Now I am going to say that we're going to be doing a great collaboration. Hopefully if that person, because let me clarify one thing. Yesterday I was on Vellies and I turned it into a right shit show. I'm not gonna lie, it was a real shit show. Really bad. Just to give you an understanding of how bad it was. I started the show. What is it? I jumped on there for a bit. And obviously, this is Velli's footage and stuff. And so I jumped on there. What time was it? at the, what is it? Have any of you lot ever stolen when they're normally doing? I jumped on there in the 20-minute mark here, as you can see, and I was only going to stay on there for a few minutes. And let's just say I'm a very stubborn person. Once I have a bee in my bonnet, I actually, it's very hard to move me from my kind of mission. And I know people are going to say you're crazy, but I just got a brain like that. I don't know what it is. As soon as all right, I'm going to do this. You're not going to be able to stop me. I said I'm not leaving until everyone's leaving. I'm just going to go through with it. So then what happened? I argued for like 5 hours. It was unbelievable. It was like 5 hours of just shouting.
No, let's I'm gonna go.
Did it hurt, Raj? Did it hurt?
Yeah.
You towel.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
I'm gonna put your face on that Gurdwara, yeah?
What are you gonna do to Sikh? Listen. How many Afghans are in there? Thousands, millions.
No, there's no Afghans, mate. They're all Sikhs,
mate.
They're all Sikhs.
You're not a bumming boys.
Hairy Jodakis, isn't it? Sikhs, huh? With the little white girls, huh?
Even when you was in Afghanistan.
Yeah, why don't you go and groom a black girl or a Pakistani girl? Because you know your little Sikhs will get smacked up, innit? So you have to go after
how's your Afghan mates, though?
Raj, you keep don't talk about Afghanistan, bro. You were your masters. Being slaves, you
how's your Afghan Sikh mates? How's your Afghan Sikh mates? I just want to know, how are they?
Oh, my Afghan Sikh mates, they worship me. I was their enslaver, innit? I was their masters. They kissed my hand.
I know a lot of Afghan Sikhs. I know a lot of Afghan Sikhs in South.
You know what, Raj? I'm going to go to Kabul in about 4 months' time. I'm going to teach the Sikhs there a lesson.
Don't come back, man. Don't come back. Yeah. So he says he's gonna. He says he's gonna teach the Sikhs a lesson. I've then got audio of him today saying that the Sikhs should. You know, in the Taliban time, in around the 1990s, the Taliban took control of Afghanistan after the civil war and also the invasion of the Russians. And I was telling the panel about how the Sikhs used to have to wear these armbands with the yellow triangle on it. And he said that they should have worn it. So you can see his supremacy when it comes to the Afghan Sikhs. He also doesn't see Afghan Sikhs as equal citizens of Afghanistan. So yeah, I'd love to start speaking to some. I know some Afghan Sikhs anyway. I'd love to show them this footage and stuff and see what they think. All right, so Aftar is here. Good day. Is it Aftar? Yeah, AV. I can't remember whether that's Aftar or NGA. Your pre-appearance on G Block yesterday was eventful. Yeah. What a return of the Raj. Yeah, and you're right. They are beneath me. There's no doubt about they're beneath me. But sometimes, you know, I like to get in the gutter. I can't help it. Sometimes I've got to get in the gutter, especially when I'm bored and I can't draw. Like, drawing for me is something that I need to do. And if I can't draw, then I'm kind of getting bored. All right, so let me go through it. It looks like people don't want to be educated about what's happening in the Punjab, obviously. There's only like, 30 viewers. When I do a show about something else, they will turn up. But then again, it's not the... I'm going to do this show as a... because I keep on getting asked a question about the Punjab, what's happening in the Punjab, why there's protests in London and stuff. So I'll just go through it, and then if people want to know, I can just give them a link to this video and say, look, this is what's going on to the best of my knowledge. Yeah. Best of my knowledge. Obviously, I'll try and make it as accurate as possible. I'm going to do a show during the week and collate all the Afghan rhetoric towards Afghan Sikhs. I'm going to compile it with all the screenshots he's put, and I'm going to make sure I give a good case against why Afghan is a disgusting, violent individual. Now, I will say one thing today. If people heard me on Jedi's channel, they might have thought, Raj, oh, you let yourself down. Raj, you shouldn't have gone in the gutter. But let me tell you something, yeah. I'm making a decision right now. Afghan's wife is not off limits. She's a dirty hoe. Yeah, that's his cousin's sister, and he's a disgrace for doing it. I'll call out any cousin marriage. And that's his missus is his cousin, his first cousin. His father-in-law is his masar. And his goddamn mother-in-law is his Mussy. Mussy means aunt, yeah, and the other way around. So think about it. How the freaking hell do you deal with that? Oh, Mussy, oh, mother-in-law. Which one is it? Yeah. So yeah. Well, I've got COVID. I've just literally come out of COVID. I'm still in quarantine. I would have loved to have gone, actually. I would have loved to have gone. I mean, I'm under quarantine. I actually didn't know about it. I thought it was tomorrow. But what I'll do is let me just start going through bits and pieces of it. So I'm just going to give my own particular overview of what's going on, and then I'll go a bit more in depth here. So basically, the last 3 or 4 months, Modi, BJP Modi, obviously, I'm not for Modi, I'm against Modi, put through some legislation or a bill, 3 parts of three legislations, basically, God's sakes, I better put my head together. Basically, he put forward 3 legislations which affected the Punjab farmers, not just the Punjab farmers, but also the farmers around India. Now, the reason why it looks like the Sikhs are the ones protesting is because the Punjab is like the breadbasket of India, meaning it's the main part where they get a lot of the farming from, because it's got flat plains and stuff. So it looks like it's a Sikh issue when it's actually not a Sikh issue. I mean, Hindus are affecting Muslims and Sikhs, but the people that are protesting are mainly coming from Haryana and the Punjab. Now, but in today, when you're looking at London, so I'll quickly just play a video of the London protest. Let me just find it. Let's find the London protest. Okay, where is it? All right, I know they did it on KTV because I was watching KTV. Oh God. Okay, what's this then? So I'm gonna do Rutley. I don't know who's gonna know. KTV won't hit me with a thingy, will it? I'm sure United Sikhs won't hit me with a strike. So we'll do a quick little Sikhs. We'll do a quick little one of United Sikhs. Let's do a quick one of United Sikhs. Yeah, I've had coronavirus. Bloody nightmare, man. Oh, big up MMMM. So, all right. So here's the protest, and this was today, going towards the Indian embassy. Where is the Indian embassy? I think it's I forget what it is. I think it's near Parliament somewhere. Oh, look at that. That's a nice picture, giving food to the policeman. We don't hate the police. We don't hate the police. The police are there to do their job. As long as they treat us fairly, we don't hate the police. Obviously, unlike certain people. So yeah, we appreciate police doing their job as long as they.
We are in London, where there is a huge protest for farmers' rights, and United Sikhs is here to serve food. And as you can see, London is at standstill right now.
Yeah, we support farmers. So there hasn't really been that much. There hasn't really been a much of a coverage on the mainstream news. I think because it's not really, it's not really that interesting to people outside of Punjab. But basically, Modi, whatever his name is, that little prick, he passed. His government, the BJP, passed. Congress as well. They passed 3 bills, basically legislation that allegedly negatively is going to affect the Punjab farmers. Now, from the government's point of view, they believe the 3 pieces of legislation is actually going to free up and make things more competitive for the farmers. But for the farmers' point of view, it's actually going to be let's just say a kind of a big conglomerate of like industry, companies taking over and kind of squeezing the little man. So it's one of those things, David and Goliath kind of situations. Yeah. So for the government, it's a good thing. For the small farmers, it's a terrible thing. And I'll kind of go through bits and pieces when I can. I'll be honest with you, everything. I haven't watched all of the kind of protests. I saw a bit on KTV today, but I didn't see the rest. So I'll just go through a little bit with myself as well. Pumar Aling. Hi, Raj. Shout out to me, please. Shout out what? Okay, yeah, big up, big up. You need some baked beans. I just had some. So let me just get a give a look. Get the thingy. Let me try and get. There isn't actually a lot of video footage. So just the thing. Let me just double check KTV. I remember I was watching a bit of that. Oh God. KTV Sikh channel. Okay, here it is. Yeah, right. So they got a live stream, which is actually better. Actually, a live stream. I think I watched the ending of it. Okay, here it is. All right. So here's the thingy. Now, before I go on and watch the live stream, because I actually haven't seen it myself, isn't it? So I might as well watch it as well. Basically, the three parts of the legislation, from my understanding, if I've made a mistake, don't start crying and whining and bashing your head through a window. Just tell me. So the first bill that was passed through, and the main thing is the government did not consult the farmers. So they just pushed through the legislation without really consulting the farmers beforehand. So whenever you're putting a bill through or some legislation, what you normally try and do is to get some feedback and adjust it, yeah, before you put it through government, yeah, because obviously it becomes much more tougher to adjust it afterwards whilst it's actually being put through the legislation and stuff like, yeah. Now, three parts of the bill. So the first part is the most egregious part, because what they're doing is basically, as of today, or prior for as long as you can remember, since 1947, small farmers and the farmers used to be able to kind of like haggle, or let's just say negotiate with these vendors. So the vendors were like small vendors, the farmers were small farmers. So if you got two small kind of like, the vendors are not that big, obviously they're not tiny, but they're not that big, and the farmers are small farmers. For some have less than 1 or 2 acres, and some people might have 50 or 100 or 1,000. But what happens is that when you got small farmers going up against a medium-sized vendor, you can negotiate more because the power dynamic is not so great. Now, what's happened now is that Modi, that little prick, basically has now privatized in a way the farming industry. Now, from his point of view, he's probably thinking that, okay, this is going to kind of free up some bad old practices, that maybe it's going to kind of what you call kind of like improve certain things. I'm not sure if it's coming from a malicious place, but they're not thought it through, because the problem is when you have massive companies, I think one of the companies is Tata, which is one of the biggest steel companies in the world, that which is going to start putting their 2 feet into it. What's going to happen is if you have a massive company, yeah, like Tata, and a small farmer with 2 acres of farming to deal with, how is that little farmer going to be able to negotiate good terms with such a massive corporation? You understand? It's like a David and Goliath situation. They've put the little farmers in a very bad negotiating position. Yeah, they don't have negotiating powers. They don't have a negotiating clout. Now, if you've got a farm which is like hundreds of acres, thousands of acres, then yeah, you might still do okay. But if you're a little farmer, you're screwed. So this is why you see a lot of you know, the poorer kind of farmers that are coming out. Yeah. Now, the other thing is one of the practices which I've never really agreed with when it comes to farming in the Punjab is that when they got a crop, they'll burn. I can't remember. You know, when you take the crop, they don't burn it, and so it's polluting the air. So rather than kind of like digging out, they'll just burn it, so it's easier to get rid of the old waste. And obviously, that's causing pollution. But the penalty for that is like 10 years if you do it. So it's a really high penalty for quite a minimal, let's just say, crime. Yeah, I don't think 10 years or the amount of fines they're going to put against them. Remember, 10 years is the maximum. And the third one that I've read is that in the Punjab, one of the kind of things they would normally do for farmers is that they don't have to actually pay their electricity for their farming. They're probably being subsidized or something like that, whatever you call it. But right now, they're going to start now charging the farmers in the Punjab for their electricity. So obviously, you can see all of these three things coming in one go. For a small little farm is going to be very dramatic, a massive dramatic change overnight. And it was not consulted with the farmers. Yeah, and so obviously that's going to piss people off because they haven't been able to have be able to have a say in the legislation, and so that's caused a lot of disruption and a lot of issues in the Punjab. It just come out of the blue. One day there was no bill, no legislation. Next day it was passed. It was that quick. So yeah, India is very corrupt, obviously. Right, so Nivi Patel says Hindus don't hate Sikhs. Listen, I don't hate Hindus. Hindus are my brothers. You know, before my family became Sikh, they were Hindu. I have no issue with that. You know, Hinduism and India are linked, like not many faiths are. Anyone that thinks that, you know, because I'm a Khalistani in the sense that I want a separate state, but I welcome Hindus as equal citizens. I don't want a separate Punjab just for Sikhs. I'd want it for everybody because the Punjab is for everybody. Yeah, the Punjab isn't exclusively for one people. Muslims are Punjabi, Sikhs are Punjabi, and Hindus are obviously Punjabi as well. And they've been there for thousands of years. So for me, I'm not linking this to Hindus. I'm linking it to BJP, and the BJP are a fascist organization or a political party which is trying to, I don't know. They basically want a Hindu fundamentalist state, in my opinion. Don't go mad. That's my opinion. Hindutva. And they see Sikhs as glorified soldiers and not necessarily as a separate religion. And obviously, you may think that's not a big deal, but to me, that's disrespectful. It's like saying, okay, you're not a religion, you're just part of ours, you know, you're just a little sect. And that's obviously disrespectful. And I've heard them say that you know, the Sikhs are just a part of the Hindu faith. They are part of Hinduism. So yeah, I don't have no issue with Hindus. Big up to the Hindus, man. Got no issues with you. Yeah. So yeah. So that's the thing. You're gonna squeeze out the little farmers, and maybe that's what the government wants to do. Maybe they want to squeeze out the little farmers because they see them as a problem, and so maybe they just want farms that are kind of medium-sized or large, because probably for them the small farms are probably harder to regulate because they're just these little farms and these brindles and stuff like that. Yeah, for the first time, General had something good. Normally, Bakwas Ball does Saladin, man. He doesn't even say nothing good, not even once. Now look, first time. Raj, do you think BJP will stay in power for a long time? I don't see. Look, and this is going to be controversial. I don't really see much difference between the BJP and the Congress for me personally. To a Muslim, there's probably a big difference because the BJP are outrightly anti-Muslim. But for me, when I see the BJP and the Congress, they're kind of like the same almost. One of them is just more blatant about it. But the Congress is also treated the Sikhs miserably. So do I think they'll stay? Yeah, I think Modi might get elected one more time because I think a lot of people think he's doing a good job. This is the problem. They perceive him to be doing a good job. Whether he is or not, I don't know. But the majority of the population of India is Hindu. So if the majority think he's doing a good job, then yeah. All right. People give up the farms to work in cities. Yeah, it might be the reason. Oh, Mr. Porodek's here. Yeah, maybe. All right, so let me play a bit of the video. Let me play the farming videos in India first, because I'm trying to educate people, so I can just send this video to people and say, "What's this?" instead of me. Because I'm having to repeat myself so much. Okay, can I do DDW News? I don't know what channel will allow me to bloody play it. Oh God, I don't want to strike, man. It's a problem with this stupid thing. Can't play that. Can't play that. Oh god, the Hindu. This is a big headache. Oh, all right. This one might do. No. I'll put it on silent there just to be safe on one of these. So I don't want to have to do the thingy. Let's try South China Post. I bet they're going to hit me with a strike, South China. They're going to hit me with it. No, you're not understanding. You're not understanding, DJ Patel. He doesn't hate Sikhs. There are Sikhs in the BJP. Yeah, there's a different problem with Modi. Modi. All right. So I was explaining this yesterday. There are four major faiths in India. Yeah, 5 actually. So you're looking at Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism. Jains are there obviously, but I'll leave them out for now. And you have Islam, and then you have Christianity. The problem is this: Modi is a Hindu or Hindutva nationalist or a fascist. He sees the 3 faiths of the Dharmic faiths, Hinduism, Sikhism, and Buddhism, as indigenous to India. It's come out of the Indian soil. Yeah, so Sikhism come out of the Punjab. Hinduism come out of North India and places like that, and Buddhism too. Yeah, so he sees them as indigenous religions. So he's happy to see them as Indians, yeah, and stuff like that. He sees Islam as an outside force coming in, yeah, with Christianity. Yeah, and obviously we know from the Islamic conquest of India, millions of people were murdered. Temples are desecrated and destroyed, and all of this, and we can go over that at some point in the future, but that's not what I'm here to do today. And so for him, he sees them as an outside force. Yeah. With the Sikhs, I have a problem with Modi is he sees Sikhs as glorified Hindus. I'm not saying he hates Sikhs. It's even worse because he's saying that you have the Sikhs and they're just part of Hinduism. We're a sect of Hinduism, and we're basically like a military order in his eyes, probably. And that to me is disrespectful. I have no hate for my Hindu brothers. I have no hate for India as a continent. I do dislike India as a country from 1947. That's the thing. You have to stop getting mixed up about India. I'm proud of the Indian history, the Hindu part of it, all of it, whether it's Buddhist or whatever. It's that's part of the history of the place. Some parts I might not like. Yeah, I am back. I can't do long shows though. That's the problem. I find that my throat starts to working up. All right, so I'll quickly try and show this. This is from the Chinese government, China or South China Post. Hopefully they don't bloody well hit me with the thingy. I'm going to mute it so that I don't get a strike while I try. So you can see here the farmers are protesting, and they've gone from Punjab over to Delhi, which is in North India. Obviously, there's been a riot. Well, look at this. So they're cooking. Nice and nice. All right, so let me read it actually, because this is they're actually. Oh, this is good actually, because they are protesting against the new farming laws passed in September. So yes, I was right. Some have clashed with police, used tear gas to disperse demonstrators. So yeah, the farmers say we will not leave until the government rolls back the laws. Okay, so they're protesting until they roll it back. Protesters have hunkered down with enough food and fuel supplies to last for weeks. Wow, I know, it's crazy. Don't know how they're surviving though. The government said the new legislation would allow farmers. So this is from the government's point of view. The government's point of view. They're saying the government said the new legislation will allow farmers to sell to big international retailers. So they're trying to put a spin on it, yeah. And probably if you're a middle or large farm, it would probably be a benefit. But like I said, it's the power imbalance of a tiny farm. So most farms in the Punjab are little farms, owned. I mean, they go as small as like 2 or 3 acres, and so they are not going to have no bargaining powers over a big corporation here, and this is the problem. This is the problem. Oh, look at it. So put farmers' fears, the laws could allow the government to stop buying grain at guaranteed prices. So from my understanding right now, they've got like a price set, and it's hard. They can't really go too much above or below it. But after this, what's going to happen is that they're going to be able to shift the prices rock bottom or even higher. So it can fluctuate quite a lot. And that's for a farmer who's dealing with, like unpredictable kind of crops and stuff, having another kind of unpredictable factor put into it is probably going to cause them a lot of kind of concern and stress. A lot of farmers are actually committing suicide in the Punjab because of the stress and stuff of the Punjab of the farming situation at the moment. Anyway, Raj, it's a master plan to control Punjab from Sikhs to government. Yeah, probably. Oh, Range Up. Do you want to jump on, Range Up, while I discuss this so I can have a balanced view? It's just going to be about the Punjab farmer stuff. So it's going to be educational, no real tamasha or anything. And so if you want to jump on, I'll give you the link in the back chat. I know notifications are not showing up. I know they're trying to press the dodge. Yeah, I'm just doing a quick little I'll send you this so I can have a bit of a balanced view from obviously our resident Sikh, what is it called? Indian nationalist. Resident Sikh Indian. See, me and Raindrop have very differing views on India, but we don't hate each other. We can have a civilized conversation and stuff. So, so you can see here, we'll get thingy on. You can see here, they kind of say, but farmers fear the laws could allow the government to stop buying grain at guaranteed prices. So it's difficult for small farmers. You can see they're all staying in these little places. They've made like little huts and stuff on the road. So this is on a lorry. They always worry about exploitation by corporations that could push down prices. Yeah, see. Government officials held talks with dozens of protest leaders on December the 3rd. So that was a couple of days ago. Don't know what that says because that's in Hindi. I can read Punjabi though. Narendra Singh Tomar, Indian Agricultural Minister, slap. Is this the guy that passed the bloody bill? Didn't he? Yeah, let's get Raindrop on there. Raindrop, is that you?
Big up, buddy. Satsrikal, how are you, bro?
Oh, Satsrikal ji, man. How you been doing?
Yeah, bro. I've been so I wanted to talk about this farmer thing because there's a lot of in this bill, right? There's a lot of bad stuff, but there are some good things.
Yeah, I was saying that though. So
yeah, I missed. I just saw the notification. I don't know what's going on.
I did the beginning bit that look here. When it comes to Modi, he does stuff which from the outside it looks very. You can kind of understand why he's doing it, but he implements it in the worst way. So with this particular one, he didn't consult the farmers. So they just passed the law. Now, even if the law and the bill and the legislations were beneficial, the minimum you should do is to try and put it through like the farmers that are going to be affected. Do you understand?
Yeah. So what happened? I'll tell you. Does your family own land in Punjab? Like, do you have agricultural land?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think one of my cousins up there does, but most of them are not farmers. They're not
okay, so I'll tell you how it works. So I have my family. They own a lot of land in Fagwara, Taran Taran, areas near Malerkotla. So what happens is that.
Oh, dude, can you do me one favor? Let me just get through the video because it's actually literally a minute left.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Let me just go through the video so then I can.
Yeah, no problem.
So this is the minister that passed it through, obviously. So this is why we should end the protests. It will be good for them, and the residents of Delhi will also get relief. The agricultural minister said the government would retain the price guarantees. So did he say that? All right. The agricultural minister said the government will retain the price guarantee system. But farmers expected more to come out. So they're negotiating that bit at least. They've negotiated a bit. So obviously, these are these farming delegates? Yeah, they must be.
Yeah, they're from the unions.
Okay. Yeah, he looks like a bit of a badass, doesn't he? This this Baba. Probably give him a future better. He's a farmer, so we have heard this for the last 2 months, and we want these bills to be repealed. These are demands we made. The problem is sometimes people demand too much, and then you don't get nothing. Or then again, maybe they need to demand so much so they can get at least something. Both sides have agreed to continue discussions on December the 5th. India's agriculture sector makes up nearly 15% of the country's economy. So this is why it's so important. 15% is a lot.
It's actually much more.
Is it?
In the sense that, so in India, most of the people, like 80% of the population, are in the agricultural industry. So like they're either own farms or they work for farms. Yeah, just finish the video and I'll go over really in detail, like give you the real deal.
Of India's people depend on 60% of the agriculture, okay, for their livelihoods. 60%, that's a lot. 60% of India's people depend on agriculture for their livelihoods, okay. Not necessarily doing farming, but agriculture, so selling it as well. We will not leave until the demands have been given. Obviously, I got it on mute because I don't want the Chinese government or whatever they are doing that. Give me a hit. Okay. I don't know how they're living like this. Seriously, man. Like, but then again, that's how they used to do in the past, didn't they? When you know, when they used to go to war and stuff, you'd have to go up in caravans of people and stuff like that. So yeah. Give me your bit. First of all, just so that I can summarize to you what I said before in a nutshell.
Sure.
For me, the main part of the bill that's probably the most problematic is the part where they're sort of not taking out the vendors, but they're making life for the smaller farmers harder because it's harder for them to negotiate with big corporations. Yeah. So from my understanding at the moment, you can tell me because your family's farmers. Do they right now? Because I've seen videos of farmers getting their crop and everything, and then they go to these vendors.
Yeah, I'll explain how it goes. So in India, so you have to go back a little bit in history. In the 1950s, Punjab was considered like the breadbasket.
Let me say Sasrikal to Wajikal Khalsa, Wajikal to dyslexic student.
Oh, Sasrikal, big up. Yes, so to go back to India, traditionally Punjab was like the breadbasket. Okay, what happened was that India was facing a lot of famine in the 60s, and they were reliant on America and England to give them food. So that started something called the Green Revolution.
Yeah.
Now what's happened is that in the 60s and 70s, because it was a very socialist government, okay, what they instituted was price controls. So what happens is that, let's say I have land in Bathinda, okay? So you have like, I'm trying to compare it like in England. So let's say you have like London. So if you have a farm in London, you are allowed to grow in London, but you cannot go to the next city and sell it there.
So you're restricted to your location. Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to sell it, there's only one place you can sell your produce, and that's a government-controlled mandi or market. So they have the London. So let's say you have the London market, you have the Essex market, you have So each area you cannot, like if you go from one district to another district, you're actually committing a crime and you can go to jail. So so this is the original, like, the system, how it works. Now in the mandi, so they call it a mandi, you go there and in advance, basically when you're in the market, you have like private vendors who go there and they will buy your stuff. And
I've seen it. So they store up the grain.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time they don't have enough space to put it under covering, and it goes carved. Like it goes. Raining and stuff. Is that the place you're talking about?
Yeah, the mandi. So they call it the APMC, the municipal corporation. So the APMC is the mandi. So each district in Punjab and Haryana and all over India, each district has this little market that you can go and give them your wheat or rice. Yeah. So now the problem with this was that, it was not much of a problem. Like what do you know if you're a farmer, right? And you know that at the end of the day, you're going to get, like, let's say 50 pounds for like 100 pounds of rice and 100 pounds of wheat. So you know that you're going to get that money. Now, what the problem was that when you go to those markets, it became like a cartel. So like the people, the middlemen who were in those markets would kind of like, become like a monopoly itself.
A mafia kind of like.
A mafia thing, yeah. So what happened was that Punjab started making a crap load of rice and wheat, mostly wheat, not much of a rice, but the wheat became massive. So India produces wheat, where in the 50s, 60s, and 70s that was good, but now in the 2000s and 2020s,
okay, that makes sense now, because I've seen a lot of videos where they've stored wheat up, and I'm asking my mum, why is there so much wheat that's gone to waste? Like literally.
Yeah,
it's been watered. So I thought they put it in the rock. So what I'm understanding from they've grown a certain product like wheat.
Yeah. So let me tell you,
distribute it within the local area.
So what happened was that in the 90s and 2000s, the rest of the country, the rest of India started producing wheat and rice. So Punjab, Punjab was not the main source of wheat and rice. So the problem is though that Punjab, we didn't diversify. So like if you ever go to Haryana, they're diversifying. So they're making vegetables, they're producing a lot of different things. But in Punjab, we're just stuck with wheat. So we produce a crap load of wheat, but the problem is that there's not much demand for that wheat. So the government, so the price of wheat, if we ever, like the farmers ever tried selling the wheat, we would get very low prices because there's not much demand in the country because they're getting wheat from other states.
And chawl as well, isn't it? Chawl?
Yeah, and the chawl, rice. Yeah, so these two things, right? So what happens is the rest of the country then gives money to Punjab to subsidize. So they give like, okay, if I try selling wheat by myself in the private market, I only get 10 pounds, but the government guarantees that you're going to get 50 pounds. So what happened at the end of the day was that the government of India was using money from other states to subsidize or to give money to Punjab for producing the wheat. Now, the problem is that this became unsustainable because if you have India produces like 1,000 tons of wheat, they would just need maybe 200-300 tons, and then the 700 tons would just go to waste because they didn't have anywhere to store the wheat. So does it make sense, or is it getting very confusing?
No, for me it makes sense because I already have a knowledge of what you're talking about. I might need to show pictures to people because I've seen it with my own eyes through the Punjabi Sikh channels, where you have these vendors like with the metal shell, the metal the thingy, the way they cover the stuff, and the people are the stuff in.
There's so what happened is that what happens?
What are they called? So I can just maybe show.
They call it mandi, MANDI, mandi system. The mandis, the markets. So here's where the problem occurs. If you produce a lot of wheat, but you don't have a place to store it, you have to ask, why don't I have a place to store it? The problem is that there's no private companies who want to invest in storage facilities because they're not allowed to participate in the mandis. So those mandis are like, semi-private. So they have like a cartel, and the cartel owns those little markets. So the market, those people who own the markets don't produce the storage facilities because there's nothing in it.
So you can see here.
It's all open. It's all open, and a lot of it goes to waste. It's really sad.
Oh yeah, and so the government has to then subsidize for the waste, isn't it? Is that what you're saying?
So the government. So you're basically.
But this is what I've seen. This is what I've seen, where it is these massive kind of like open. What's it called? Like open kind of like a vending place where there's all this wheat and jaw that's gone to waste because rain has ruined the crop.
Yeah, exactly.
I was wondering, why did they do it like that? Why not just
Because there's no place to store it. There's no place to store it. So
yeah, but in the UK, what they do in the UK when they get what's it called?
Surplus.
Yes. No. Everything they put it through this machine because you have to let it heat up, don't you? You have to let it dry.
Pasteurizing it, like
So what they do, so in the UK they have a machine that kind of dries it all out. Whereas in India, because it's hot, they just leave it out in the open. But that also is open to the elements because we know in India, in the Punjab especially, it can get very cold, it can rain and stuff like that, as well as be very hot. So a lot of stuff is actually ruined because of that. So your description is kind of giving a positive slant to it, and what you're saying sounds.
Well, no, it's in my opinion, it's negative. It's in my.
It's negative, right? Explain to me why you think it's negative. That
So I would say the intention is good. So if the intention is really good, like if they're able to implement it properly, that it would solve a lot of problems in Punjab. Because what's happening is that if you grow wheat, you consume a lot of water. And Punjab, like in all of Punjab, the water situation is very bad because we started making tube well. You know what a tube well is? Tube well, like a well, like in the ground. Have you ever heard of what a tube well is?
I haven't heard of it, but
okay. So in Punjab, the rain. What happens is that the farmers are dependent on water that's underground, the groundwater. So what happens that if you want to grow wheat, it consumes massive amounts of water. So what happens that a lot of the land of Punjab is undergoing desertification. So you're using crap load of water to produce wheat, and then that wheat goes to waste because you're not really selling it because there's no place to store it, and there's not much demand to buy it. So the intention of the laws that they pass is good. The problem is the implementation. So if what's happening is that the law is good in some cases and bad in some cases. So the bad thing is that the one thing is like, they're gonna jail or they're gonna fine farmers for burning the stubble. That's stupid.
When you're talking about, because I've seen that as well, where they have a farm, they've done their farming and then they've picked everything, and then what they do, they burn the whole thing, creating pollution all over the place. Like
so that's that. But you don't put someone in jail for that. You should.
That's why. If you go back earlier, me and you are agreeing. I said I don't agree with it, but putting someone in for because there's a 10-year prison sentence maximum, which is, you don't even get that for certain crimes.
It was a hastily made thing. That's why I'm like, they could have made it really good. So the fear that I have is that I don't want it to become how in America, like how traditional farming in America. I don't know how it works in England, but what happened in America was that big corporations started owning lots of farmland. So now you have something called corporate farming. And that became bad because a lot of the regular, like small farmers, lost out, and then they had to go into the cities. And then that. Yeah,
but that's what he wants, though. That's what. Yeah, well, it's obvious that it's obvious that he wants to get rid of the small farmers and these vendors, like these middlemen.
No. It's not necessarily, because they did the same thing in like different states, like UP and Bihar, and it worked pretty well. So like the system can work. But the danger is that if you don't do it in a proper way, it can cause like a huge segment of the. It's not only Punjab. This isn't affecting the rest of the country. No. Punjab is a very small aspect. This is affecting a lot of other places of the country. I could understand the intention where if you were like a leader of a country, you don't want your country to just be an agricultural country. You want it to become like modernized and industrialized. But you have to do that in a very slow manner. You can't be just done in a couple of years. It has to be done in a phased manner, because if you do that very quickly, you're going to be in a situation like China and Russia in the 1960s.
I liken what he's done with this the same way he did it with the money. Like remember the money when they got rid of
the money thing.
It was a good intention. So the idea behind it was a good idea. Like get rid of all this black money, kind of all over the place. But the implementation of doing it overnight. And so people are panicking. The banks can't cope. This can't cope. This is a problem with Modi. He is a fascist in that way because he believes he's like a totalitarian leader that can just implement laws all over the place. And he doesn't really give a shit about what people think. He's done the same.
The good thing about Modi is he's not corrupt. Like you can't accuse him of corruption. That's why he got so many votes in India, is because people were just sick and tired of corruption. But the problem is that when he implements things, the people underneath him kind of screw things up. So, for example, this system would be very good, okay, but you have to guarantee, you have to put a couple things in the law. For example, you have to put a price guarantee on for the farmers, for the security of the farmers. You have to say that, look, in case the private market is not able to match, the government is going to have.
Oh, hold on, can I ask you something? This little another said, when did they shut the Kartarpur corridor on the Sikh side?
No, not that I know of. Maybe because of the corona, they might have done it, but I don't think it's closed permanently or anything. Like it might have reduced it.
So what I'm going to do now, because I don't want the show to, because what I'm trying to do now is to do like a short snippet show where I can then send people the link, because people have been asking me what's going on. Because you're in Speaker's Corner, I think they could see the protest going on. And so rather than keep on saying, I'll send them a link, because it's so complicated going through everything.
Yeah, so I have to go, Raj. I just want to just put a couple things like.
Yeah, you're going to tell your bit then.
Yeah, it had a good intention, but there are some dangers that if they're not solved, like there are holes, there's holes in the law that can be exploited by big corporations. So you kind of have to plug those holes. I think it will happen. You know, this is not like a Khalistani thing. That's a big misunderstanding, because most of the other states are they're calling for a strike in India, in Maharashtra, Bombay, in Delhi, in Tamil Nadu. So it's not only like it's mostly because Punjab is on the border of Delhi, so that's why it's easier for the farmers.
I need to show people the location, just so, because I had a conversation with Ned, this old white man. He's like, why are the Sikhs protesting? And I was trying.
It's not the Sikhs. Sikhs are a minor portion.
Everybody is protesting, but if you look at where Delhi is and where Punjab is, Delhi is the capital of India. So for Sikhs to get to Delhi is very easy. For someone from South India to get there, it's going to be hard. So this is why you have majority Sikhs and Hindus from Haryana doing the actual protest. It's just the location.
So I mean, so the socialist government, it has to be socialist in model. So they have to make sure that there's a price guarantee for the farmers. It cannot just be up to market forces. It has to be, they have to have some level of protection that, they're not going to get screwed over. And for the last, 60, 70 years, that's what India has done. The government pays farmers in Punjab, everywhere, like a crap load of money. So, I rent out the land to laborers, they work the land.
So one other thing I've heard though is that they put a bill through which, from my understanding at the moment or in the past, the government used to pay the electricity of farmers. Is that true?
Yeah. So we get free for the land. That. No, they didn't retract it. So we get free electricity. We still get that. That's not been retracted. So the government gets free. As a farmer, you get free electricity, free water. You don't have to pay for water. We don't have to pay for electricity. We get a guaranteed rate of return. So we know that per acre is going to produce let's say a couple 100 pounds of wheat. We know how much we're going to get for that. So it's a good system in that way, but it's bad because if you have a crap load of one thing like wheat, then it just goes to waste. And then the farmers don't, the soil itself gets eroded because we keep on producing wheat year after year. The soil is going to get fucked up and you're going to have desertification of the land. So you want to diversify that land. You want to grow like tomatoes and vegetables instead of keep on making wheat every year. So it has some good things, but you kind of have to, just finesse this bill so that way it'll solve a lot of issues. Like the Khalistani thing, that's nonsensical because if you produce Khalistan, then who's going to pay you the money for those farmers?
Khalistan's
No. Like I'm talking about in Canada, there's a lot of protests. I'm like, you guys have to think, you're asking money from the Indian government, from the rest of the country to pay you money. And if you separate, who the fuck is going to pay you the money? Because it's kind of dumb. Like you're protesting because you're asking the government to keep on paying you the money. So if you separate and make your own little country, who's going to pay that? Because now you're going to lose out because all the rest of the states are paying that money for your wheat, but no one's going to use that wheat. So that's the thing. So it's not really the rest of the country is protesting too.
Wouldn't it also be the fact that if the Punjab is separated from India, India would need the wheat?
No, that's the mistaken belief. So that's actually a problem because right now India, it produces wheats in other states that are larger than what Punjab produces. So you have other states like Bengal, Haryana, Himachal. You have all these other states who produce wheat. So they don't really need Punjab's wheat. So this one of the reasons they did this was that Punjab was producing too much wheat, and they're paying Punjab a lot of money, but that wheat is not being used. So it goes.
Do you think that was this always the case though? I mean, you're telling me that it seems that the rest of India has enough surplus of wheat, but I don't remember that.
It wasn't the case in the 60s and 70s. So that's why they had something called the Green Revolution. So the Green Revolution started in Punjab and Haryana because it is a very fertile valley. But what happened was that in the 80s and 90s, other states like Bihar, UP, they started, cultivating the land properly, adopting like more technology. So now other states in India produce massive amounts of wheat, but they produce like lentils and other things. So like, for example, Sid, right? RS Sid, he has factories. He has factories in Malaysia that use oil, like, the palm oil. So in India, it's kind of weird. You have a crap load of wheat, but you don't have enough palm oil. So why not produce palm oil instead of a crap load of wheat? So this is the main issue was the oversupply of wheat. And what happens is that the rest of India was basically paying money to Punjab to keep on producing that wheat, which didn't make any sense. Like, why would you keep on paying money to one state to keep on producing wheat, which you don't need? So,
all right, so can you just let's just so I can give a kind of a solid point. Now, first issue, tell me the positives and negatives of the Indian government passing the bill, which would make it that the middleman, the vendors, and you'd have bigger corporations kind of getting involved rather than these little vendors. What is a positive and negative though? I got my own understanding of it. What's your...
I see most of that as negative in the sense that I fear that the corporations might just kind of price out the little vendors. So I see that as a negative. The positive is mostly from forcing the farmers to diversify the crops. So instead of just making wheat, now we're making other things that is not going to fuck up the soil, because Raj, once you fuck up the soil, there's no coming back. Like it's very difficult. And Punjab is in an extremely dangerous position, because if we keep on producing wheat, right, it's only like 10 more years and you're not going to be able to grow anything on that land. So that was one of the main reasons they did this, was to prevent.
But I mean, one of the positives is that you said that they're going to allow people to now sell their product outside of a local designated area.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the big positives. Yeah, that's one of the big positives, because what happens is the farmer used to sell it to the mandi, and now the mandi can do whatever it wants with it, and the farmer kind of got screwed out. With this, you can sell across state lines. But the biggest positive for this is to force the farmer to diversify and not just make wheat, because basically it's like you're living on benefits, so you don't really have an incentive to get off the benefits. So what the government is doing is telling you, you know what, you can still get your benefit, but why don't you try to do something as well, part-time, like get a part-time job. So the government is kind of foretelling the farmer that, look, you will still get the benefit, but try making other things other than wheat. Don't just focus on the wheat. Because the farmer now...
Well, that can't happen overnight, though, can it? You can't suddenly start growing.
No, it'll take a couple seasons of growing.
Yeah, so you're talking about a lot of hardship and heartache, even in terms of learning how to grow the crop and everything, and learning the mistakes and everything, if they're small farms.
No, it's not that difficult. So one of my farms, we started growing, karela, like karela. I mean, I don't really like it, but
that looks like a rat.
Yeah. So we make karela. So, but the thing is that so I'll tell you, my family, the farm that we had, right? So we had to dig into the ground to get the water out. It's called a tube well. So ask your parents; they know that. Like in Punjab, every farm has a tube well. So the problem was that we found out when we hired a surveying thing, we found out that the water table
falling into them. I know.
Yes, very less. It's very low amount of water. So then what the government said is that instead of making wheat, why don't you grow tomatoes and why don't you grow karelas? Because that is less dependent on the water. So that's one of the good things about this law. The bad thing is that it could be exploited by big corporations to buy up massive amounts of land, which will be very dangerous, because those farmers will then be fucked up and they'll have to go into the cities and live in poverty. I don't want that to happen. So there's good things and there's a lot of things that could be bad. So I guess now with the farmers' protest, I hope that the bad things could be, taken care of.
All right. So and the part about putting people into prison for 10 years for burning.
Yeah, they're gonna take that out. That's just bad. That's stupid.
And what did you say about the electricity? Was that true? That you said you did. So
no. We're still getting the free electricity.
So what was the bill that was passed affecting that? So there's something did affect
the bill. That was a labor bill. So the labor bill was a law that, so before in India, if you had a factory, right, and you employed more than 200 people, if ever you had to fire an employee, you had to get government permission. So that was the law. That's the law currently. Like if you're an owner of a factory and you have more than 200 people that you employ, if you want to fire anyone, you have to get permission from your district, office, from the government. So you couldn't just fire them willy-nilly. This law allows them to fire anyone with more than 100 employees. So it reduced that threshold. So if you have like 100 employees, or if you have more than 100, now you can fire them willy-nilly. You don't have to get permission.
I mean, that's a negative, obviously, isn't it?
I mean, it's positive and negative. It's positive.
Well, it gives the employer much more power over its employee.
Yeah. So like in England, let's say you're employed by any company, they can fire you. They don't got to take any permission from the government. They can just fire you for any reason.
Right.
So, but in India, because they followed the socialist model, they had a strong basis of unions. So it was positive and negative. It's positive in the sense that it allows more investments, because who the hell would want to invest in a country where you can't fire someone unless you get permission from the government? And the government is not going to give you the permission because they don't. I mean,
the reason why I'm saying it's negative is I actually don't know how stringent the Indians' kind of like employment laws are. Like how.
Oh, those are very stringent. Those labor laws are extremely stringent, bro.
Oh, I'm talking about your general employee. How much? I mean, what protection have they got? Could they take their employees to a tribunal? Could they, appeal stuff like that?
So let me tell you, the reason why India had a very low growth rate was that the government mandated that if you are an owner of a company, you can't fire anyone unless there's a really good reason. So what happened was that it kind of lowered productivity, because if you're an employee, if you know that your job is never going to go away, and it doesn't matter how much hard you work, you're still going to get the same amount of money. You have no incentive to work harder or to work. So that's why. So in the 90s they did some reforms, okay, but now they're trying to make more reforms, which could be a good thing or a negative thing, depending on if you're more socialist or if you're more capitalist. Now, I don't want to screw the worker completely. I want them.
Can I ask you how big your farm is, though? What's the acre?
Oh, it's so we measure it in a different category. They call it canal.
Okay.
You know what a canal is? Canal.
No, I've not heard of canal.
Okay, so I would say it's like 100 acre.
All right, so you're quite a medium to large size.
Yeah, it's a medium to large. I mean, we sold some land, but like our family used to be jagirdars, like zamindars, and then after partition, we had much more land. But after the Indian government, they mandated that all the land gets divided to the peasants, to the peasantry.
Yeah. So with yourself though, would you as a medium to large farm be affected to the degree of a small farmer, or is it's going to be minimal? Or still going to be a big effect on your...
It would be, I would say, it'd be bigger effect on the medium to large farmers. Yeah. On the small farmers, it has an effect, but the effects are felt much more acutely. So if you're a small farmer and now let's say a big corporation is saying that, I'm just going to give you this much, you're screwed. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's much more black and white, like,
Yes, much more black and white. With us, we can kind of like protect ourselves from getting hit by, combining with different farms, like they call it cooperative. But, so this law, it can be used in a very positive way, or it can be used in a very negative way. And that's why they have to put some amendments. Like, I don't think they should throw away the law. I don't think they should.
I mean, I don't agree with that as well. I think,
like there's a lot of good things which will actually help, because so let's say if we don't do anything, let's say they throw away the law. What's going to happen the next 10 years, 60% of the land in Punjab is going to become useless, because that land, the water level that's in the ground, it's going to dry up, because we keep on producing wheat. That's the only thing we were known of. Punjab is producing wheat. While if you look at Haryana, before they were just like Punjab, because it was part of Punjab, right? You remember Haryana was part of Punjab. But what they did,
we'll get it back. Raindrop.
No. But what happened is that in Haryana, what they started doing was that they started diversifying. So now they produce tomatoes, they onions, they produce a whole lot of other shit. Which Punjab, we're just still stuck in making wheat, which is stupid.
Oh, look at this! Sorry, I have to disturb, because obviously got A-lister here. Hassan, big up, my bro. Obviously, you're going to be bored. It's about the Punjab farming and Sikhs. So obviously Hassan's going to be yawning and all that. Because what can we do?
Purple had a good comment. Good question.
Yeah.
What is it like to do land prices? So what's going to happen is that it'll kind of help the rich people, because what it'll do is that land will become like people will want to buy it. So the price of the farmland is going to increase. So, but what's happened is that the poor farmer is going to be like, why the hell should I be working when I could just sell this and then scoot out? But it is going to be a short-term good, but it could be a long-term bad. Because let's say you sell the land, right, and you get a lot of money, but that a lot of money might only last you for one generation. What's going to happen to your future generations? So with farmland...
Look what Troublesome Hard is doing. He's doing a bit juggling out here. It was from my understanding.
It's the Hindi, because Haryana is like 99% Hindu.
Yeah,
so they wanted Hindi. It's because of the language. So the Punjab, I mean, we still have a capital which is shared between. I mean, I think it's dumb. They should just make the capital separate. Yeah, Chandigarh. But
did you hear that it was, they started fighting in Australia, Haryana boys against?
Yeah, it's stupid. Like that's why I'm like, it's a stupid. It's stupid. Yeah, I've seen the videos. It's stupid.
Yeah, but the thing is that Haryana is just basically Punjab. I don't know why they're too kind of like, you could have called it, but I don't know. Well, what can they do, man? It's gone there, and it's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, Kashmir is part of Punjab too. Kashmir was all part of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Like even that the Maharaja of Kashmir in 1947, he was from a Sikh family. So the Sikhs rule. I mean, if you consider like Khalistan, we should be including Kashmir. We should include Lahore, which is in Pakistan. That was the capital of Khalsa Raj.
Hindu phobia going on. Hindu, the human version of a cow. Oh no, he's attacking the Hindus now. Now I'm going to get all the Hindus on my back going, man. And the thing is that one of the problems is because of the visual nature of the Sikh and their turban, and
they stand out.
It looks like it's a Sikh protest, but when you really look at the people that are there, especially in the Punjab and Haryana and stuff, it's a mix of everyone. But the bug that stands out, which is probably the reason why it was given to the Sikhs anyway, but it's not a Sikh protest. It's just that Delhi is closer to the Punjab.
It's not a Sikh protest, because there's now in Maharashtra, it's like other states that are communist, like where Ralph is from, Tamil Nadu. I mean, that thing is like 1,000 miles away from Punjab, and they're protesting too. The thing
did they all look like Ralph?
Yeah. Our vice president, Kamala Harris, she's Tamil, like she's.
Yeah, I know. You look very proud. Well, I'm going to start doing, because I'm glad you turned up today, because you're giving me a bit of clarification as somebody that actually knows farmers and you know a bit more about it. For me, I'm just reading stuff, so I don't know the ins and outs of.
There's a good video. You should watch it. It's a good channel called The Print, and the journalist is called Shekhar Gupta. He gives a pretty good reasoning of the good parts of this and the bad parts of it in a very neutral manner.
Send me a link in the back tab.
Yeah, I'll give you the link. Like it'll give you the reasoning. Like, okay, why is it a good thing and why it could be a bad thing? But
Hassan's on a mad anti-religion mode. He's talking about God and dog. Oh no, blaspheming hard today, man. Don't know what to do with him sometimes. What can I do?
But my fear is that I don't want it to become like the American model of agriculture, where you have like massive levels of farm and you just have like a couple machines. Because now the laborers, so we hire a lot of laborers, like mostly the people who work. So we own the land, but people who work on it, we get from UP, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, so a lot of labor comes. Now, if you corporatize all that land, you're just going to put a couple of big machines. Now, where the hell are those laborers going to go? Like, where are they going to get jobs? Where are they going to get employed? So, I mean, it's a positive negative, because you don't want to be like the biggest country on the planet, but your main economy is agriculture, because that means you're still like a third world country. You want to become a first world country, where what you're doing is producing technology, where you're producing, goods. So you want to be like the Chinese, but the Chinese got fucked over. So this is what I tell you about China. China got fucked over, and now China is depending on India for its rice, because the Chinese, what they did was that they privatized the whole thing, but then they exploited the land, and when you exploit the land, you lose the water. So now the Chinese land is basically useless. So now they're dependent on Africa, on India, on Russia for getting, food. So you don't want it to be that. So there's extremes. So I would say this law is 50-50. It's 50% good, 50% bad. And it's nothing to do with Khalistan, because if Khalistan ever occurred, all the farmers will get zero. You'll be fucking living in poverty, okay?
No. We want to separate Punjab, though, not Khalistan, but Punjab. Separate.
Yeah, no, but in Punjab, like if you look at, for example, like in Pakistan, I don't know if you know what's going on in Pakistan. Maybe Arts can tell you more. The land in Pakistan, they used to grow the wheat, but now Pakistan. The Punjab of Pakistan is unable to produce wheat. Did you know that, Raj? Like they have to. There was an emergency in Pakistan where they started getting wheat from other countries because they could not produce the wheat that they need because the land was completely exploited. So they didn't put the agricultural reforms that India did. So the land, the Punjab part of Pakistan, it's completely fucked. So if you try to grow things in the Punjab portion of Pakistan, the output is much less. So now you're getting wheat from Russia, you're getting wheat from Ukraine. But if you're a third world country, how the hell are you going to keep on affording buying wheat from other countries? So that's the danger that the Indian part of Punjab prevented. So you have to weigh the pros and cons. This law, 50% is good, 50% is bad. That's my opinion.
Oh, but India.
Nah, big up India, bro. Big up India.
On Pakistan as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the good thing about democracy. You're able to protest. You're able to, voice your opinion and do things and not be, killed or anything for it. That's the good thing about democracy. And these are complicated things. It doesn't affect only just, 20 million. It affects 1.5 billion people. So you really have to have a consensus.
Oh, look at this. Even Hassan is an honorary Punjabi now. Maybe one of his Turkish brothers invaded the Punjab at some point. He's got some Punjab blood. Let me play this video. If you want to stay on, this is.
I have to go, bro. I have to eat some food. I'm gonna listen in the background though.
Yeah. So what I'm just saying is, the protest today. Obviously, I couldn't go because of coronavirus. And it was very short notice anyway. So let me just play this video from today in London. I'm gonna go through a bit of it.
Big up, buddy. Big up.
Yeah, big up. That's the God, man. Big up. Oh no, Raindrop, you should have stayed, man. I got a wicked bit for you and Moddy, yeah. Look at this Moddy bit. I need to find the Moddy bit, yeah. Because I'm gonna clip this shit. Where is it? Here it is. What's this? I wish he was here, man. So anyone that wants to have a bit of a laugh, yeah, look at these little kids, what they say about Moddy. Have a listen to this shit at the protest today.
ट्रैक्टर लेके लंडियां जीपां लेके मोटरसाइकिल लेके लोग पहुंचे हुए ने छोटे छोटे बच्चे भी पहुंचे ने जिथे बुजुर्ग ने
So these little बच्चे means kids.
नौजवान ने छोटे बच्चे ही पहुंचे
Modi kutta hai, Modi kutta hai, Modi kutta hai.
They're going Modi kutta hoi. So kutta obviously means bitch. Look, I don't know. I was watching this here and I was like, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing or a bad thing that they're calling Modi a bitch on TV? Obviously, they got their little views. Let me just go through a bit of this. So save the farmers, Punjab and Haryana. So it's both the Punjab and Haryana. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. So the High Commission, where is the High Commission? Where's the High Commission? Look at this one. Modi with some slippers ready to go. Modi with some slippers ready to go. Yeah. Yeah. Have a look at that. Modi with some slippers. Yeah. Get some little slipper on his head. Look at that. Yeah, where's the bloody thing? Obviously, they got the youngsters there. I think some of these are Khalistanis. I wish they showed a wider shot. I can't. The demonstrator. It's just like people talking. Oh no! I better not say. I better not say too much about this person. Better not say too much about this person. Let's just leave.
ये मोदी अड़े होया तो मेरे भराओ तुसी भी अड़े रहो कोई गलती ना करो अपनी होश तो काम लियो
Okay, here's a better bit. All right, so this I want to see.
ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸੋ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਕੱਠ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ
This guy speaking here is like a freaking machine of speaking. Like it will speak for hours and hours, and I thought I was bad, but this freaking guy's a nut job.
ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਕੱਠ ਲੰਡਨ ਵਿਖੇ ਬੀਜੇਪੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਝੰਡਾ ਭਾਰਤ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਗਰ ਅੱਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੰਗ ਬੜਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਪਰ ਮੇਰੀ ਟੀਮ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ
Oh, so you said they gave him a lot of tongue, which is getting in trouble, like, you know, problems. So I think they had a bit of problems with the police or something.
ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਦੱਸਾਂ ਆਕਸਫੋਰਡ ਇੱਥੋਂ 100 ਮੀਲ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਮ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਭਾਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿੱਧਰ ਖੜੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਣੇ ਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂ ਚੱਲ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਭਾਜੀ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਏ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਰੇਵ ਜਾਣ ਤੋਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਕੱਠ ਹੈ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਾ ਧੋਖਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਖੜੇ ਭਰਾ ਖੜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਚੜ ਜਾ ਫਿਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਕਿ ਗੱਡੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਕੇ ਕਰਿਆ ਆ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕਾਊਂਟਰ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕਾ ਦੁਗਣਾ ਤਿਗਣਾ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਆ ਗਈ
Oh, him. This guy's a right nut job, man. Oh my god. Raindrop, you got to watch this presenter in the UK. You got to watch this presenter, man. He's like a freaking robot when it comes to, like, you know, talking, man. I've heard him talk for like 6 hours straight once without breathing.
ਆਇੰਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਡਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਫਾਈਨ ਇਹ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਜੂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਹੋਣਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਡੈਮੋਨਸਟ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਚ ਕੱਲੇ ਕੱਲੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਚ ਆਹ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਮੋਦੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਦੇਖੂਗਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੋਲੀਡੈਰਿਟੀ ਆ ਅੱਜ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਲੋਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੰਨੇ ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਾਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਆਕਸਫੋਰਡ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਮ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਟੀਮਾਂ ਫਸੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ
Yeah, they're just basically talking about there's so many people there that, you know, if Modi saw it, they would be shocked. So, yeah.
ਕਾਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਹੱਲੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਬਾਈ ਨੇ ਕਰਤਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਬਾਈ ਬਸ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਚੱਪਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡ ਸਕਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੋਦੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਐਡਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਕਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਭੁਲੇਖਾ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਮਨ 'ਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਭੁਲੇਖਾ ਸੀ
Yeah, all right. So you're saying that, you know, Modi is going to be shocked and Modi won't expect this. But no one's covering it on the mainstream media. There's no BBC footage. There's no footage anywhere, like the main channels. So all you've got is KTV and a couple of... KTV is banned in India. A God channel is banned in India. From understanding, Sikh channel is banned in India. So who's going to see it? You're going to only have these little clips here and there. So, yeah, it was a good protest, but the thing is the media, the main media, like the BBC, should have been out of there. I need to check for the footage. Maybe they haven't actually uploaded it yet.
ਵਰਤ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ
ਜੀ
ਲੋਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ
ਮੁਖਤਿਆਰੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਇਹ
ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਬਣ ਗਏ ਮਹਾਰਾਜੇ ਵੀ ਉਸ
ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ 'ਚ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ KTV ਦੀ ਇਸ ਅੱਖ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਵਾਂ।
Okay. Say the farmers of Haryana, Kisan, Manzoor, Ekta Jindabad, we support farmers, terrorists, obviously.
ਆਪਣੇ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਵੱਧ ਚੜ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਹਾਈ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਦੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੀ ਤਰਫਦਾਰੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਭਲਾ ਉਹ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹਮਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਨੇ ਹਮਾਇਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੀ। ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਉਸ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਹਾਈ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਖੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ।
Oh, is that the Indian High Commission there?
ਕੰਧ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਖੜੀ ਹੋਈ।
ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਇਹੀ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਦੇਸ਼ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਮੋਦੀ ਨੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਨੱਕ ਪਾਈਏ। ਨੱਕ ਨੂੰ ਪਰ ਦੇਖੋ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਇਹਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣੀ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਤੱਕ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਢੋੜੀ 25 ਤੋਂ 26 ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਨਾ ਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਰੋਕ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ।
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਖੁੱਲ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਵਨ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ ਚੁਣੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਨੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਵਾਈਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰਪਤੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਡਮ।
Oh, yeah, there's been a bit of a furore with Justin Trudeau as well, if anyone knows. He said some comments about the Indian government mistreating the Punjab farmers, and bloody Modri's gone mad. Freaking summoned him to a meeting or something. I don't know what's going on there.
ਉਹ ਵੀ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੱਕ। ਉਹਦੀ ਬਾਡੀ ਲੈਂਗੁਏਜ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਸ਼ਾਂਤਮਈ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜੋ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ।
ਜਾਗਦੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੈਠਾ ਹੈ ਪੂਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਬੈਠਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜਾਗਦਾ ਹੈ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ
ਮਿੰਟ ਦੇ ਅਧੀਨ ਆ। ਤੀਜੀ ਗੱਲ
this is a KTV
Oh, let me see what's happened there. Let me have a look there. Oh, listen.
ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਮਸਲਾ
You know, I've never heard this guy speak English before, yeah? You know, the presenter. So this is the first time I've heard him speak English. I've actually met him in real life, but he always speaks Punjabi on TV. I don't think I've ever heard him speak English.
ਉਹ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੈਟਿਕ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ
ਉਹਦੇ ਵੱਲ ਕੈਮਰਾ ਕਰ
ਇੱਕ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਗ੍ਰਿਫਤਾਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ।
Oh, so they've arrested someone. All right.
I'm not on the fucking highway, you blind!
Who's saying that?
ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਛਡਾ ਕੇ ਲਿਆਓ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਣੇ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਕਢਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਣੇ।
Oh, basically they're saying that they're taking that boy away, the guy, over and arrested him. So yeah, let's have a look.
ਰੋਜ਼ ਚਲੋ
ਆਜੋ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕੈਮਰਾ ਆਜੋ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ we are the media now. KTV, this is a KTV. This is a KTV. Media part. This is the problem with you guys. You think we're gonna lie? Yeah.
That sounds like Steve Barnes.
Pick up. That's it. That's KTV. What pass you want?
Oh no, basically kita. Oh no. Oh no, this wasn't a good look. I knew he's English. I've never heard him speak English. His English isn't actually that bad, actually. But the Kate, so let me explain what's happened here. Is he's gone there and he wants to get a media pass because obviously the media has less restriction, and you need a media pass. What he's pulling out is a Sky subscription thingy that you're part of Sky. You know, Sky is who broadcasts the KTV. He's like, I'm KTV. Oh, God. Oh no, crazy.
This is a This is a KTV.
Oh, you blind? You're on the fucking highway.
What's happening?
ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਛਡਾ ਕੇ ਲਿਆਓ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਣੇ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਕਢਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਣੇ ਉਧਰ ਉਧਰ ਚਲੋ ਭਾਈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਫੜਿਆ
आजो आजो लाके कैमरा आ जाओ देख सकते हैं ਅਸੀਂ we are the media now
Where's your media pass?
KTV this is a KTV this is a KTV
So KTV is Khalsa TV. Yeah, so Khalsa TV is basically a Sikh channel. Yeah, I'll play that next time. Raindrop, because I need to shut the stream in literally like a couple of minutes. I didn't want it to be.
media part this is the problem with you guys you think we're gonna lie yeah
Whatever you lie, I'll toss you a media pass.
Sounds like Steve Blunt.
pick up that's it
Well, that's not.
that's KTV what pass you want
I want a media pass.
this is a media pass
Basically, get that. I think I re-edited it. Oh no, that's embarrassing. He pulled out a Sky TV pass.
Union
and my picture on it
National Union of Journalists on media pass.
basically you guys have a problem you're working under Indian immigration
What else you
what else you want
National
what else
Union of Journalists.
BBC channel but fucking the cover here okay
Oh no, he swore. Oh my god, I swear get that on the Sikh channel. Oh my god, man. He said Emmer effort. You have to understand what channel this is. This is like a religious channel. It's called Khalsa TV. Oh my, and this was live, so they couldn't even freaking edit the bloody thing. Oh no. You know this guy here, let me explain something to you. I don't want to diss the man, yeah. I don't want to diss the man. But I met him at a Khalistan event, yeah. And he was fighting another TV presenter. Oh, all like punching each other up, yeah. It was crazy. So he's a very volatile character, but you have to understand this is a religious channel called Khalsa TV where they do Sikh religious events and stuff like that. So for him to swear on there is very unprofessional. Very unprofessional.
pick up that's it
Well, that's not.
that's KTV what pass you want
I want a media pass.
this is a media pass
Yeah, Union
and my picture on it
National Union of Journalists on media pass.
basically you guys have a problem you're working under Indian immigration
What else you
what else you want
National
what else
Union of Journalists.
BBC channel but fucking the cover here okay yeah I do I can because he's got K media you on the live now are you in live now yeah okay what's your problem tell me what media
Oh no, Patani see that he was live. Yeah, he didn't realize he was live. So he started swearing at the freaking thing. He mothered for this. I will explain to little old what's his name, Hassan. I'll explain to you in a bit, man. Let me just quickly get through this. Poor old thingy. Yeah, it wasn't even a business card. You know what it was? It was a Sky TV membership that he was part of the Sky TV group, yeah, because KTV is broadcast on Sky TV. So it was a Sky TV thingy, yeah, best he could say man. Oh my god, man, best he could man. How embarrassing. It was on camera as well. Bloody hell. God's sakes.
ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਨਹੀਂ this is a KTV we working for community and we so what's your problem then if it's a BBC you won't stop do you if it's a because they're yeah you're right ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ KTV
What's up to you, guys? It's not permitted.
ਸੋ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੋ KTV ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਦਪਿੰਦਰ ਜੀ ਤੋਂ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਹਾਂ ਓਕੇ ਸੋ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੋ KTV ਤੇ ਸਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸ ਦਵਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਵੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਓ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਇੰਟਰਪਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਪਰ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ
Oh, so do you know what happened? Okay, I get it now. Okay, so what? All right, so let me explain something. Something makes sense now. Yeah, let me explain what makes sense. I watched the Casa TV live from this point here, and now I even said to my mum, "Why is this guy doing the coverage when this guy is still there?" Because I saw him earlier. I asked my mum, you know, why is he in the background? They must have removed him when he said "motherfucker BBC." Yeah, they must have removed him. They must have removed him. I think because I was speaking to my mum earlier because I watched the other end of it, and I was like, okay, this is a bit weird because this guy loves to talk. He loves to talk on these shows, so he must have got removed from the broadcast because of saying I'm in Rafa.
Okay, so ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਟੀਵੀ ਤੇ ਸਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸ ਦਵਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਵੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਵਿਤਕਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਓ ਉੱਥੇ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਇੰਟਰਪਟ ਕਰਨਾ
So basically just saying that they've got no problem with the police or anything, but wherever they're going, they're kind of interfering and interrupting and this. And he's going, motherfucker, BBC. Oh, God, live on the Sikh channel. Oh, basically, man. Oh, my God. But I've seen him fighting at a rally, so I don't know what to say, yeah. Motherfucker, put this. Say all in international language. Easy to understand. True, yeah, true. Big old Falcon.
ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ KTV ਦੀ ਟੀ-ਸ਼ਰਟ ਪਾਈ ਆ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਾਰਡ ਆ
Oh God, he's digging it in here. Listen to this, yo.
ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਾਰਡ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਈਏ ਅਸੀਂ BBC ਦਾ ਕਾਰਡ ਦੇਈਏ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੈ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਾਰਡ ਆ ਟੀਮ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਾਰਡ ਆ ਪੈਸਾ ਜੀ
So what? This is like a comedy. So basically saying, I don't. So in English you say, I don't understand why they don't let me through. I got a T-shirt with KTV. I got a what's it called? A card with my name on it. I do not understand why they don't let me through. Now, obviously, having a KTV T-shirt isn't enough, and you need a press, actual press, national press thingy. Yeah, so you can't just show a card of being part of the Sky Group to get you through. And when you're saying motherfucker as well afterwards, it's a bad look. Yeah, this thing's a bit boggled, man. I've met him before, man.
ਜਿਹੜੀ reality ਹੈ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿਸਾਨ
Oh wow, yeah, see some bites.
ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਪਟਾਕੇ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਬੁਲਟ ਤੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਪਟਾਕੇ ਪਾਉਣ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਫਿਕਰਪੁਣੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਿਆ ਵੈਸੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੀਰੀਅਸ ਗੱਲ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਖੰਡੇ ਭਾਈ ਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਕੈਰੀ ਔਨ ਕਰ ਮੈਂ ਯਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਬੋਲ ਰਿਹਾ 4 ਘੰਟੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ
Oh God, do you know what happened there? Yeah, they probably told the other guy, yeah, come on, go over there, get him off, yeah. So he's just saying now I'm tired, yeah. But I've heard this guy talk for 8 hours straight, yeah, 9-10 hours straight. So they must have removed him for saying the motherfucker. Yeah, that must have been the reason. Someone must have complained saying that he's swearing. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Obviously, I have to show my mum this bit because I didn't realize this bit.
ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹੀ ਬਾਈ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਇਹ ਲਾਸਟ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਉਹ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਆਵਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਉੱਠ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਦਾ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਮੋਰਚੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਲੈਣਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਮੋਰਚੇ ਦਾ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਇਜ਼
What up, BBC channel, but the fucking the cover here, okay? Pick up. That's it. That's KTV. What pass you want? This is a media pass.
Union
and my picture on it.
National Union of Journalists media pass.
Basically, you guys have a problem. You're working under Indian impression.
What else you want?
What up?
Union of
BBC channel, but the fucking the cover here, okay?
Yeah, he's a Khalistani. He's a full-on Khalistani. So yeah. You can see more of him, Muhammad Malik. Actually, let me try and get another video because this guy is a real character, man. He's a regular on the Sikh channels and stuff like that. So let me just see. He's got loads of freaking videos about him. Yeah, not a good look. I think they probably removed him after he said the motherfucker. That kind of got him into trouble after that. But he's done loads. Let me see if I can find a video of him speaking for like 8 hours straight. And he speaks like a machine gun as well. It's hard for me to understand him when he's going at such a high rate. Where is it? Oh, it's not here. Yeah, we'll stop at that. We don't. Let me get another video. See, protest. I've watched the other end of it already. Actually, I might just play the bit where they say "Modi kutta, Modi kutta." Where is it? There's little kids. Where is that little bit? That's quite good. So here they are. Look. What do you think of this raindrop? Listen.
नौजवान ने छोटे बच्चे ही पहुंचे
मोदी कुत्ता हाय मोदी कुत्ता हाय मोदी कुत्ता हाय किसान एकता हाय
What do you think of that? What we're teaching the young Sikhs out there? Big up to them, man. Big up to them. Big up Jajjar Singh. I always love the name Jajjar Singh. Obviously, it's one of the Jara Sahibs up there. So big up, man. But can you see what they do to Modri? Calling him a kutta. Little children. Even my mum was shocked. Even I was a little bit shocked.
नौजवान ने छोटे बच्चे ही पहुंचे
मोदी कुत्ता हाय मोदी कुत्ता हाय मोदी कुत्ता हाय किसान एकता हाय किसान जिंदाबाद किसान एकता जिंदाबाद किसान एकता जिंदाबाद किसान एकता जिंदाबाद किसान एकता जिंदाबाद No farmers, no food. No farmers, no food. No farmers, no food.
Oh, here he is again. Look.
ਬਾਬੇ ਦਾ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੜਬੜ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ 2000 ਕਰੋੜ ਦਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੌਕੇ ਮਿਲਦੇ
He's back again. Look. There he is, looking all innocent now after the mother.
ਐਂਡ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿਰੁੱਧ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਰਾਜਨੀਤਿਕ ਪਾਰਟੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਕੇ ਟੰਗ ਕੇ ਆਪ ਮਹਾਰੇ
There's another bit of the interview I saw that's quite funny before I wrap. This was quite nice actually. This bit I watched this earlier. So this is just like slightly further down.
ਬਣਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੱਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਅਵਤਾਰ ਭਾਈ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਬੋਲੇ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਾਥ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹਰੇਕ ਦੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਆ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਉਣ ਤੇ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ
ਨੇ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ 2 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਹੁਣ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕਈ ਦਿਨਾਂ 26 ਤਰੀਕ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਕੀ ਸੁਨੇਹਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੋਗੇ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਤੋਂ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲਈ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਨੇਹਾ ਤੇ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਕਾਰਪੋਰੇਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ
ਸਰਕਾਰੇ ਜੋ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਜ਼ੁਰਗਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਤਿਆਚਾਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਉਹ ਪੀਸਫੁਲੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੰਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟੈਰਰਿਸਟ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਆ ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੰਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਕੋਈ ਹਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਬੁਸ਼ਾਰਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਆਸੂ ਗੋਲ ਦੇ ਗੈਸ ਦੇ ਗੋਲੇ ਸੁੱਟੇ
So basically Modri was calling the protesters what's it called terrorists and stuff and they were spraying water on them and all that kind of bullshit. Yeah, but there's a woman that comes up next because obviously I watched this earlier, this half of it on live. So
ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਤਿਆਚਾਰ ਕੀਤੇ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਕਾਰਪੋਰੇਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ
ਜਿਸ ਨੇ
ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ
ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਅੰਬਾਨੀ ਦਵਾਨੀ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਆਖਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਕਾਲਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਈਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੇਨ ਹੋਣ ਡਿਆ ਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਕੋਠੀਆਂ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਖਿਚਾਉਂਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਠੀ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸਪੈਕ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਰੱਖਦੀ ਆ ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਟੱਕਟੀ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਟੱਕਟੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਦੀ ਕੰਧ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸੁੱਟ ਸਕਦੀ ਮੈਂ
she'll say she'll do poo and chuck it on his wall. Brutal. Even the little old aunties are like freaking upset. You know this. You know the Punjabi people have got a volatile temper. Man. Even the aunties going, "Oh, poo and chuck it on the wall." So yeah, I've done videos on caste. Obviously, I'm one of the biggest anti-caste people. I haven't answered what caste I am for the last I think it's 15 years because the problem with the caste system is if someone says what caste you are and then you say I'm a Jat, you're reinforcing the caste. What you should say is when someone says what caste you are, you should just say, what does it matter? I'm a Sikh. That's it. Everyone does that, the caste will go. Yeah. If everyone keeps on saying what caste they are and marrying only their caste, you'll just reinforce it, which is against Sikhism anyway. So you shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, did you see that? Yeah. Auntie, yeah, or you know, Anna, yeah, like, you know, giving it hard. Listen to it again. Listen again.
Yes.
ਨਹੀਂ ਹਟਣਾ ਇਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਰੌਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ
ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਕੰਧ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸੁੱਟ ਸਕਦੀ ਕੰਧ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸੁੱਟ ਸਕਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੇਨ ਹੋਣ ਡਿਆ ਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਕੋਠੀਆਂ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਖਿਚਾਉਂਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੋਠੀ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸਪੈਕ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਰੱਖਦੀ ਆ ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਟੱਟੀ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਟੱਟੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਦੀ ਕੰਧ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸੁੱਟ ਸਕਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਯੈਸ ਅਬਾਨੀ ਅਡਵਾਨੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਲਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਉਹ ਚਵਾਨੀ ਨੇ ਚਵਾਨੀ ਔਰ ਅਠਿਆਨੀ ਦੈਟਸ ਇਟ
She's like, drop the mic. Auntie, you know that the little old auntie just dropped the mic there. So she's going to shit all over, chuck shit all over the walls of yeah, whatever. I know it's a little bit silly, I agree, but it's a little bit funny as well. A little bit of a. All right, so let me just get one more. I want to try and get a good overall quick snippet of what happened in London today, but I can't find the video because I need to go now. Khalistan rally, West Bromwich, London, farmers in Punjab. What's this? Okay, I can play this. Because this is from my actual. Yeah, I know, Raindrop, but it is funny though. It's funny. I know it's not a good look. So this is Birmingham. I was there last year, wasn't I, when I exhibited? This is Birmingham Gurudwara. Yeah, West. So this is the north of England. No one's mocking you, dogger. We're talking about the Punjab crisis. No one even spoke about the dogger. We're speaking about the Punjab crisis.
ਇਹ ਤਿੰਨ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਲਾਗੂ ਕੀਤੇ ਹਨ ਲਈ ਅਤੇ ਖੜੇ ਰਹਾਂਗੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਲੋੜ ਪਏਗੀ ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ
I'll have a look at the. I think is that the real dogger? That's not the. That's a freaking fake one. Some Bengali smoked weed in my face. Oh my god! Nice, definitely.
ਆਸ ਦਿਆਂਗੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਾਏ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ
We remember.
ਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹ ਧੱਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ
I actually wanted a London one. I'm sure I can play it. Actually, I'm up to play this one. Actually, let's play this one. This one is good. And look at the name of the channel, Murtaza Ali Shah. Murtaza Ali Shah. Do not. If you call me a landhead, yeah, I'm gonna block you from my channel, Padida. What's your manners? Would I throw a turd at the Lochin? I think I'd throw the Lochin at a turd. He's not even worth, the other way around. Okay. So I think this is where's your face of your wife? I can't see it. God's sakes, it's really where? All right, so this is from a channel. I think it's they want.
Indian Sarkar. Indian government.
किसान
किसान एकता जिंदाबाद
Oh, look at these ones. These. Oh, they're going to some kind of rave.
You spoke to farmers.
Right, it's a long thingy. No doubt about it. All right. Can't really get that much great footage. I did play this one earlier. This one was a pretty good one. It's a farmer thing, yeah. Farmers getting abused in Punjab. So yeah, I'll leave it on this one because it's quite.
We are in London, where there is a huge protest for farmers' rights, and United Sikhs is here to serve food. And as you can see, London is at standstill right now.
All right, yeah, I'll do a more kind of a conversation about it next time. And that was me just giving a brief overview, just so that if people want to know what's going on, then I can just send them the video. Now, for you, what's his name? Bloody Hassan, listen. This is India. India is a big country, goes all the way down. Yeah, I should have probably done a better version of this. Punjab is this, yeah, the Punjab. You at one point, Punjab, Pakistan side, and Punjab, India side was one place. The Brits drew this line here as the border, which is now today's Pakistan and India. So a lot of Punjab is in India. That's why you have people who are Sikhs that are Punjabi, Muslims that are Punjabi, Hindus that are Punjabi. A majority of Punjabis from Pakistan side are Muslim, and the majority of Punjabis from India side are Sikhs and Hindus because they moved over time. I'll probably do another one. I need to do another one anyway. But anybody that knows my position, because I've had this a lot, yeah, where I've had some friends, yeah, who are from a perceived, I don't believe in caste, but let's just say they're from a low, let's say they're from a low caste, yeah. And then what happens, people ask them, oh, what's your caste, yeah? And they feel embarrassed. So they go, oh, I don't want, oh, and they say, what's your surname? They just use the word Singh, yeah. And I always say, why don't you just give your surname? And they'll say, oh, because, you know, we're from a low caste, and then people start treating us differently. I was like, this is disgusting. Yeah, I was like, no. So for me personally, I don't answer the caste situation. If someone says to me, Raj, what caste are you? I don't answer. I've not answered in 15 years. Yeah. And what people say to me, Raj, you're tomato, Raj, you're this, you're that. I'm not, and so what if I'm a tomato? I'm a Sikh. We don't believe in caste. So people need to get over this caste situation by just not answering what caste you are no more. Just don't answer it. Say, it doesn't matter. I'm a Singh. I'm a Sikh. That's it. Because all you're doing is reinforcing the caste, the negativity of the caste system. Obviously, I've done also stuff about the Gurdwara. Like in my area, there's 4 Gurdwara with Ramgarhia. 4. Why would you name a Gurdwara Ramgarhia Gurdwara? Ramgarhia is a caste. There's another Gurdwara that's called Singh Sabha. That's a caste. There's another Gurdwara down the road, and that's a different caste, a Patra caste. And people from different castes don't go to that. Do you understand? It's just stupid, man. Honestly, very, very silly. Considering that Sikhism was supposed to abolish caste, but the Punjabi culture, remember, caste is Punjabi. Sikh, it's not part of Sikhism. It's a Punjabi culture that is hard to get rid of. Like you even have Muslims going, "Wait, Jataga," yeah. So you'll see it all the time. So we need to, yeah. So I will be doing another show on it. I think I've probably spoken about caste on my channel somewhere. I can't actually think it. Yeah, my caste is Casa. Yeah, big up. Yeah, Flexi Studio. Our #1. We do need to start doing some more. Yeah. But wasn't the gurus from the Qatari caste anyway? Yeah, don't answer it, man. Serious. And if someone says you're a Tamar, and is a Tamar any less than a Jatta or whatever? No, it's not. So you shouldn't. People need to stop taking it so seriously. The problem is that until people start to intermarry as well, yeah, without the you have to marry a Jatt, it's still gonna be there in a city. The problem is, and sorry to my Jatta brothers, sorry, yeah. I'm asking for forgiveness beforehand. The Jats seem to have a very, what's called kind of like a real pride in being Jatti, yeah, and that's one of the big problems as well. Yeah, like I've seen a lot of Sikhs. I'm Jattaga, yeah, and it's not good. Yeah. So see, if you're a Sikh, once you're a Sikh, you're a Sikh. That's it. If you start going, oh, I'm higher than this one because I'm a Jatt, I'm this, then you're not a Sikh, in my opinion. You basically forfeited being a Sikh if you think your caste is. If you believe in your caste in terms of a cultural Punjabi aspect and say, oh, my family's from a Jatt lineage, but I'm no better than anybody else, that's cool, whatever. But if you think you're superior, that's where the problem becomes. And I will do a whole show on the caste, actually. I do need to do a few Sikh shows and stuff like that, get different people's opinion in and kind of talk about that something. Yeah, wow, put the Jatta label on there. He's probably singing that run going, oh, Jatta! He's probably dancing around, little Jatta. Yeah, it's true. It's true. How can you believe in caste and you're saying you're a Sikh? Now, I'm not talking about believing in caste in the sense of, okay, I'm a Jatta. That was my lineage. I'm no better than anybody else. And I'd let anyone marry my daughter, even if they're whatever caste they are. I'm talking about people that think they're better than another person. And I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. Especially when I hang around, one of my best mates was a Barterer. I don't know if people know what Barter they are. They're like a small kind of sect within caste, which mainly they come from Pakistan. Yeah, their people come from Pakistan side. And so those people in my area were treated badly. I'm not going to lie. Like, they got their own gurudwara and stuff. I'm not talking about terribly. They don't beat people up, but they used to always be embarrassed about saying they're Padre. And I'm like, dude, you're just a Singh, man. I don't see you as nothing else. So, yeah, you need to... there's nothing wrong with being proud of your lineage, yeah? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you become arrogant and think you're better. So when you say you're a Jatta and you're with somebody from a different caste, you think you're better than that person. And as a Sikh, if you think that, then in my opinion... you're going against one of the basic tenets of Sikhism, in my opinion. So big up to Adabus as well. I need to go. Sorry, guys. I need to go. Hopefully, yeah, like I said, it was an informative show. Obviously, no one was watching, but the people that was, I appreciate it. Obviously, they like the masha and bakwas and like freaking fireworks. But I've been doing a lot of that for the last few days, so I need to just like relax a bit. So hopefully people can watch this video and get a little bit of an insight into what's going on, and then I can just send the video to people if they want to know a bit more, if I'm on a panel or something like that. Or I can actually even play it. All right. So I don't want to do this, yeah. All right, let me do it for 5 minutes because I know a lot about it, yeah. There's misconceptions. Let me explain. All right, so there are differences culturally between Bartere and different Sikhs. There is. I don't see them no less. They're still my Sikh brothers here, but they do bad practices. And I've told my mates this. Now, I had one of my best friends for around 10 years was a Bartere guy, and he got married. And I'm not going to lie, I was shocked at the wedding. I was shocked at the wedding. Let me tell you what happened here quickly, and we can talk about that in the future. I'm used to the normal kind of Sikh weddings from the, just the mainstream Sikh. So when I went there, one thing I don't do when I go to weddings was drink before the ceremony. So, when you go to the Gurdwara, I was like, don't drink until the evening. Because at that time I used to drink. I was like, don't drink until the evening. What I found was when I turned up here, they had a coach. And I remember, and I want to just make something clear, the Gurdwara was only a 15 to 20-minute drive. It wasn't like it was in Coventry. It was literally down the road, yeah. They booked a coach out, and when I went into the coach, I was like, what is this coach about? They were just knocking back whiskey and Bacardi and vodka. This was like 9 or 8 in the morning, yeah. Then what happened, they went to a place called Wanstead Forest, yeah. There was a forest there, yeah. And they pulled up. I was like, what's this about? Got out, and they were eating like chicken and stuff in the forest. And I sounds like I'm taking the piss here. It was crazy. Then what happened, by the time we got to the wedding, all the men were wrecked in the thingy, yeah. And only me, the bride, the groom, the dad, and the brother were on the men's side. And I think 1 or 2 other people. Yeah, they're all, they're all shrubby. Every single one. They couldn't come in. They were outside. Yeah. Did the wedding, yeah. And I was like, freaking, this is crazy. Then what happened, I went to the wedding hall. And one thing I've never seen, yeah, in a wedding is the party for some, I think this might come from Pakistan. They separated the men and women. So the men were at the front and the women were at the back. And they had a kind of like a curtain between us. So we could only hear them. We couldn't see them. And I've never seen, because, when you go to Sikh weddings here, everyone's dancing together, everyone's this. I was like, what is this about? I was so shocked. It was like a culture shock. I was with Sikhs, but in the same time, I was in a different community. But the worst thing that happened to me, in my opinion, actually not the worst, was that one of the problems with the party, I see, they eat a lot of meat. Yeah, they eat a lot of meat. And what the problem is, when they done the wedding dinner, they did not have a single vegetarian option apart from a roti. Yeah. Not a single vegetarian option. Everything was meat. They had to buy me, guess what? And I'm not even joking with you. You think I want to take it a bit. They had to buy me baked beans. They had to cook me baked beans, and I had to eat some with bread and a roti, yeah? While everyone else is eating. This is how crazy it was. But if I'm being honest with you, I was so jolly by that point, because this was like a wedding party, and I used to drink at the time. I didn't really give a shit. I was like, all right, just give me whatever I want. And but they don't eat meat in the Gurdwara. This is one of the misconceptions that has happened. And I've been to Partari Gurdwaras a lot. I've been in there a lot, yeah, particular Partari Gurdwara. I used to go there a lot. My mate used to go there. The misconception that has happened is that, yeah, baked beans at a wedding, yeah. The misconception that has happened is that they do eat meat at weddings, yeah, but they don't eat it in the Gurdwara. They book a hall out, or they do it in a kind of a coach, yeah. So this rumor has now gone around that, okay, the meat was being eaten in the Gurdwara. No, it was eaten on a different premises, but it was part of the day, which is still really bad if you think about it. Yeah. So yeah. And this is not even me kind of like, I'm not gonna joke, I'm not gonna lie here. I've been to some weddings in my life, but this one was a next level crazy. It's a very different cultural wedding to a traditional Sikh wedding. So they've got some practices from somewhere, I don't know where or how it's come about, and that kind of practice is I don't really agree with it. I think it's pretty weird, to be honest with you. Not really. Just what is it? Just no. These guys have meat in their Gurdwara and serve some. No. They don't. Trust me, I've been to the Gurdwara a lot. There's one down the road, and I've never ever seen alcohol or meat on the premises. And if there was, there would be a freaking massive hoo-ha. It's a rumor. They drink alcohol and eat meat before weddings, but not in the Gurdwara. They book a hall or something. And so the rumor's gone around now that they eat meat and drink in the Gurdwara. It's not. And that, to me, is still bad, because if you're going to the Gurdwara and you're drunk, it's not good. You understand? It's not good if you're drinking and you go to the temple. Anyway, Yeah, so did I, Annabeth. I was vegan as well for a year, went mental, started wanting to kill everybody, even though I loved animals. I thought human beings were evil piece of excrement. And obviously, I still think that up to a certain degree, but I went a bit mad at that time. Anyway, big up to everybody. Hopefully this was an educational video, so people could learn a bit about what was going on today in London. And yeah, thanks for watching anyway. Take care. Anyway, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ka Fateh. Let's make it as a good one.